Okie dokie. So we are the Stroke Association. We are a charity dedicated to help people who have had strokes, to help them rebuild their life after stroke. We give people practical and emotional support. We also campaign for better stroke care, and we found critical research that to help prevent stroke and then helps towards the treatment and rehabilitation of stroke. For example, we have a national stroke helpline that people can call and then talk to us. We also produce a wide range of publication about stroke and health information. And we have an online tool called My Stroke Guide, which is really helpful. Lots of stroke survivors using it. And also we run stroke clubs and support groups across the UK. In Southampton area, we provide communication support service for stroke survivors. And we provide health promotion and engagement service for general public and stroke survivors. In Southampton, Songhill and Totton area, we have 2 stroke support groups, usually run once a week. But at the moment, during the pandemic, they all temporarily stopped the face-to-face group. I know one of them has transferred it to online group. So it is important that people know stroke can happen to anybody really at any age, because usually we think stroke always also only happen to old people. Actually, that's not true. Although it's more common in older people, but people are having strokes earlier in their lives. Around 1 in 4 strokes happens to people of working age, that is under 65 years old. Children, babies and young people also have strokes too. There are over 400 childhood strokes a year in the UK. Now I just want to show you a video. I might have to come out of here to show you the video. You can let me know whether you can hear the sound.
I was in work, it was a Friday.
It was my 7th birthday party.
There's something not right and I start to panic.
My mind was not coming together.
I can't move my right hand side.
Massive sharp pain.
Explosion.
My brain fell out.
Thought I would die.
My body drained. And then I disappeared.
Woke up and everything was spinning.
The light was like needles.
Your life is in a trap.
Over time, it's getting better.
Hopefully some of these fingers might work again.
Every day is a challenge.
You need that extra support to get you through.
I am Baz.
I'm Paul.
I'm Luna. I'm a stroke survivor.
I am a stroke survivor.
I'm Alicia, and I'm a stroke survivor.
Can everybody hear the sound okay? Okay, that's great. So as we can see in that video, strokes strikes every 5 minutes. So between the time you had your breakfast and your lunchtime, let's say 5 hours, there are 60 strokes happened in the UK and 900 worldwide. No, 9,000 worldwide actually. And there are more than 100,000 strokes in the UK each year. That's around 1 stroke every 5 minutes. So that's to put into perspective the scale of things. People nowadays is more likely to survive from stroke compared to 20 years ago because of improvement to stroke care, but stroke is still the fourth biggest killer in the UK. And 2/3 of stroke survivors leave hospital with a disability. Currently, there are 1.2 million stroke survivors living in the UK. That's 2% of the entire population. So let's think about Southampton population, which is 250k, and that's about 5 times of the number of people living in Southampton that are having stroke as stroke survivors living in the UK today. The reason why I'm here today to deliver this kind of presentation awareness session is because despite the huge scale of the problem, stroke still remain significantly underfunded and misunderstood. And on top of this, the number of stroke survivors living in the UK is expected to more than double in the next 20 years. So that's why we're here to help. We are the only charity that working across the UK, leading the fight to conquer stroke, and through our vital support service and through our research and national campaign for better stroke care. We also want to change the way people think about stroke and raise awareness about stroke and stroke prevention. So now I want to just start to talking about what is a stroke actually. To put it in a simple word is stroke is a brain attack. So it happens in the brain. It happens when the blood supply to part of our brain is cut off, causing permanent damage to our brain cells. Our brain is protected by being inside our body, inside our head, and the blood is circulating through our body, including our brain, all the time. Usually, our blood vessels work fine and there's no problem. But when someone is having a stroke, it means something has stopped the normal blood flow to the brain. And without blood, our brain cells can be damaged or die. There are 2 main types of stroke. One is a blockage or a burst in arteries which supplies blood. Most stroke, so around 85% of stroke, are caused by a blockage, such as a clot. So you could have a blood clot in your leg and then traveled through your body into your brain, which cuts off the blood supply. And the medical term for that is called ischemic stroke. Stroke can also happen because of a bleed caused by a burst blood vessel within or on the surface of our brain. This is called hemorrhagic stroke. Some of us probably have heard of mini stroke or TIA, known as transient ischemic attacks. It happens when brain's blood supply is briefly interrupted. So it's very, very similar to a stroke, but apart from the symptoms only last for no more than 24 hours. Although it may not last long, a TIA is still very serious. So 1 in 12 people will have a stroke within a week of having a TIA. And about half of all strokes after TIA occurs in the first 24 hours. So we can't ignore it. We have to treat it urgently. So we probably heard some people call it funny turn. It's definitely not a funny turn. It's very, very serious. So how to spot the signs of stroke? Stroke is a medical emergency. I know under the current pandemic, I know some stroke survivors had a stroke, but they didn't really get picked up by the emergency service, which caused really, really serious issues. So we need to remember stroke in any circumstances is a medical emergency. Every second counts when you have a stroke. So recognizing the signs and calling 999 for an ambulance is very, very important. And we need to remember, when you call the ambulance, you need to tell them you suspect somebody is having a stroke. Because if you don't tell them that, if for some reason they take them to A&E rather than the stroke specialist stroke unit, that could delay their treatment, and that can cause some serious problems. So the quicker a person arrives at a specialist stroke unit, the quicker they will receive the right treatment. We are very lucky in Southampton, because in Southampton in general we have a really good stroke specialist unit, and the Stroke Association's research has led to the introduction of the Act Fast campaign. I don't know whether anybody's seen the Fast advertisement on the TV at all.
Yeah.
You have? Okay, I just want to show you this quickly.
So how's the new job going?
Absolutely fantastic. Closer to home, so I get to spend more time with Shamila and the kids.
You worked hard for it though, mate.
Well, no.
Are you alright? Is he alright?
Steve? I think he's having a stroke. We need to do the fast test. What? How?
Wait a minute, Steve, what's wrong?
Steve could be having a stroke. It's time to do the fast test.
F for face. His face has fallen on one side. Steve, can you smile for me?
F, face. Look at the person's face and ask them to smile. Has their face fallen on one side?
A, arms. Can you raise your arms for me?
A, arms. Ask the person to raise both arms and keep them there. Are they unable to raise one arm?
He can't raise his other arm. S, speech. Can you say hello and tell me your name?
S, speech. Ask the person to say hello and tell you their name. Is their speech slurred?
Hello,
T, time.
T, time. Steve is having a stroke. It's time to call 999.
Ambulance, please.
All right, mate. Steve has shown all three of the fast symptoms, but even one of these symptoms could mean someone is having a stroke. If you suspect a stroke, do the fast test and always call 999 straight away if you see any one of these signs. Learn it. Share it. You could save a life.
So that's the fast test. F for face, A for arm, S for speech, T for time call 999. From my experience talking to stroke survivors in the general, a lot of them don't have any of these symptoms. Some of them just collapsed on the floor or doesn't remember anything. So, which means I think stroke also have a lot of other signs as well. So apart from so fast tell you the main signs of a stroke, but there are other to look out for. For example, sudden weakness or numbness to one side, difficulty finding words or speaking in clear sentences, blurred vision or loss of sight in one or both eyes, and then sudden memory loss or confusion or dizziness, or a sudden collapse, like a sudden fall, or a very sudden and a severe headache. This all could be signs of a stroke. And again, if you spot any of the signs, don't wait, call 999 straight away. So earlier we've talked about that stroke happens in our brain. The human brain is incredibly complex. It controls everything our body does, from coordinating our movements to our speech, keeping our heart beating and storing our memories, as well as how we understand, think and feel. The effects of a stroke depend on where it takes place in the brain and how big the damaged areas is. Our brain is divided into 4 different lobes, as we can see in this picture. So the purple area is called the frontal lobe, the blue area is called parietal lobe, and the yellow is called occipital lobe, and the red part is called the temporal lobe. We can see that each lobe controls different things. So some control the sensation, the perception, some like the yellow part controls what you see. So as you can imagine, if a stroke happened in this part of the brain, then that could cause your vision problem, people's vision problem. And if it happens at the frontal lobe, it could affect your behavior and the motivation. So stroke can have a sudden and a massive impact on our life. For example, it can take away our ability to understand, to speak, to read, to write and use numbers, to walk or move around freely. It can also affect our vision, memory, concentration and emotion. All of this will have a huge impact on our independence, confidence and well-being. Stroke is the leading cause of disability in the UK. It causes a great range of disability than any other condition. And apart from this quite obvious effect, stroke can also have hidden effects, such as fatigue, that's feeling extremely tired often, or anxiety and depression, and a change of behavior. And these hidden effects can happen to people who do not have disabilities after stroke, but they can affect many aspects of people's daily life. Around a third of people who have a stroke will experience aphasia. Aphasia is a language and a communication disorder. It affects more than 350,000 people in the UK. Aphasia can affect a person's ability to understand, speak, write and use numbers. However, we need to remember it doesn't affect a person's intelligence. Now I would like to share Alicia's story with you. Is everybody okay? Are you still with me? Because I'm sharing screen, so I can't see you.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. Okay.
I know lion, giraffe, elephant, rhino. That's a tricky one. Your life. My mind was not coming together. Bubble inside. I'm stuck. Inside. The frustrated is not because anyone's done it. It's just because I can't say it and it's not coming out. Bench. Oh no, it begins with S. So what is that? It's 5 letters. I think it was when I was at the rehab, they must have mentioned aphasia. Now what I know at this point, what aphasia means, you're intelligent, but you do have to start from the beginning. I didn't really understand this is a stroke. The doctors were coming and saying, you might not wake up, you might not be able to talk, you might have a wheelchair. It could be quite severe. I was a teacher for 5 years and that was honestly my passion, but it took a long, like a year to accept that no, I don't think I can be a teacher. It's hard to even understand. I guess you can only try your best. I smile, but I do have a lot of tears or upset or worried. I guess anxious.
They don't really tell you that this is going to be an ongoing thing for the rest of her life and your life.
Because sometimes I feel that I'm in my own way own world, while everyone else is moving on. This is a scrapbook of all my memories. The reason why I kept it is because, like, look at this before, how severe it is, but now it's, I guess, better.
Reflect and remember how far you've come.
Exactly, yeah. I'm just trying to think about, like, when I have the sad things, what will I do to make it better? Football.
Yeah, but the Americans might...
Soccer.
Soccer. Oh,
Football.
They did call it football.
I don't think you know how to do speech and language. I'm really happy with this new things I'm doing. Like, I've accepted that I'm not a teacher, but I am a teacher because I'm volunteering. I think everyone can do anything they want to do. It might take time, but I believe you can do it. Stand up and don't give up, whatever you want to do. I feel so grateful that the Stroke Association has really helped us so much. You get to meet new people who have had a stroke, but now I am volunteering for the Stroke Association, and I honestly love it. You have to think that we are alive, but how can we help others now? We're lucky. We have to remember, imagine that point. I thought I was going to die. They said that. But now I'm here today. I can walk, I can talk, I can learn, I can do so much. Like, it's just, yeah, I guess I'm quite grateful and blessed in that sense.
Everyone okay with that?
Fine.
Okay, thank you. So that's Alicia's story. So Alicia had a stroke and it left her unable to read, write or walk. But as we can see from the video, she's recovered so much. And with the right support and the determination, people can recover, can put their life back together. And there's other, so aphasia is just one kind of effect of stroke. And there's lots of other information about aphasia. If anybody want to find out more, there's more YouTube clips I can share with you afterwards as well. So now I would like everybody to try to do an exercise. So it's to help you understand how stroke survivors feel. Because after stroke, sometimes our brain won't do what we think it should do. And the stroke survivor often have to retrain their brain to do what they need to do. For example, when parts of your brain that control language or speaking are damaged, that could cause communication issue. We might not be able to say the word we wanted to say correctly. We might say yes when we want to say no. We might say milk when we want to say water. But as I said just now, it doesn't affect a person's intelligence. So please do bear this in mind when you are caring for a stroke survivor who has had a stroke and has communication issue. Be patient is the key. To help you understand, let's just do a quick activity. So here is activity that you can try to say the colors you can see, but ignore the words. Anybody want to give it a try?
Well, David. Anybody?
Just feel free to shout, to just say the word on the screen. Just give it a try.
Say the words on the screen.
Yeah. Actually, sorry. Say the colors you can.
Say the color, not the word.
Ignore the words.
Right. Green, purple, yellow, orange. Green, purple, yellow. Oh, red. Yellow, red, blue, green. Red, green, yellow, red. See, you should have done this. Green, yellow, purple, blue, blue, purple, red, yellow. David finished it off.
Not easy, isn't it?
Not for me, obviously.
No, not for me either. I tried myself. It's confusing. It feels like your brain is trying to trick you, but that's how stroke survivors feel. Even though they inside them, they feel clearly what they wanted to say, what they can see, but it's to get it out, and that kind of difficulty, that's really frustrating. So we can't do this activity now, but you can try it afterwards. So sometimes a stroke may make everyday tasks harder. So to help you understand, you could try tie your shoelaces or write your name with a pair of gardening gloves on, or you could try write your name backwards with your non-dominant hand. And I would like you to imagine, how would you feel if all of your everyday tasks suddenly got more difficult just like that? And that's how many stroke survivors feel, because it causes practical issues such as preventing people from doing normal daily things, from communicating with others, making people more reliant on others, and it can also feel very embarrassing. This will affect almost every part of our life. So now let's talk about how some risk factors. We can see here there's five main risk factors. So our lifestyle has a big impact on our risk of stroke. Smoking, drinking too much alcohol, being overweight and eating unhealthy foods can damage our blood vessels, which will increase our blood pressure and make our blood more likely to clot. And the use of illegal drugs can also increase the risk of a stroke. And then strokes can run in families. So if you have a family history of somebody in your family have stroke, then do speak to your GP about this. And then ethnicity. Strokes happen more often to people from African, Caribbean, and South Asian countries such as India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, as risk factors for stroke, such as diabetes and high blood pressure, tend to be more common. And TIA. If you have had a TIA or mini stroke or a stroke in the past, you are at greater risk of having another one. But actions can be taken to reduce your risk by following your doctor's advice, taking medication you are subscribed to, and following a healthy lifestyle. And then your age. People are most likely to have a stroke over the age of 55 because our arteries naturally become narrower and harder as we get older. So they're more likely to become blocked. But it's never too late to take steps to reduce your risk. So like being more active, eating healthily. A lot of them is like common sense, really. Also, there are some other health problems can raise your risk of a stroke. So first is high blood pressure, because part of my job used to, when I was able to do the face-to-face event, I used to run, we called know your blood pressure events. So we take people's blood pressure and give them suggestions. Because high blood pressure plays a part in half of all strokes, and is the biggest single risk factors of stroke. It has no symptom when you have high blood pressure, so it's really important we get our blood pressure checked regularly. And if you are diagnosed with high blood pressure, it's important that you take your medication regularly. And then irregular heartbeat. Irregular heartbeat means your heartbeat is irregular and may be faster than it should be. If left untreated, your risk of stroke is up to 5 times higher. Most people don't get any symptoms as well, but sometimes you can feel your heart racing. The GP can check you and send you for further tests. And then diabetes. Having diabetes almost doubles your risk of a stroke. but managing it correctly and making healthy lifestyle choice, such as losing weight if needed, can help reduce your risk. And then high cholesterol. Excess cholesterol in your blood can clog up and narrow the blood vessels, which can cause a clot. High cholesterol doesn't usually have any symptoms, but it's a major risk factor for stroke. So it's important to get your cholesterol level checked, especially if you are over the age of 40 and have other risk factors as well. Your GP or pharmacist can check your cholesterol level with a simple blood test. Now we talk about a lot of risk factors and what is stroke and how can we reduce the risk. So having a healthy lifestyle can help you managing conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol, which in turn reduce your risk of a stroke. So steps like eating healthy food, stop smoking, drinking less alcohol, and being more active can all help reduce your risk. Smoking doubles your risk of dying from a stroke, so it's well worth getting advice on giving up. And eating well, eating lots of vegetables and fruit, and have homemade food if you can, as it usually have less fat and salt than ready meals and snacks. And cutting down on salt can help with controlling blood pressure, and eating less fat can help with the weight loss. So this all can help towards your reduce your risk. And then moving around more. So as much as you can, really. Try walking for half an hour a day and keep moving at home. But if you can't go out, just walk around in the room every 20 minutes can help as well. And drinking less alcohol. In the UK, the government advises that it's best not to have more than 14 units spread over a week. The limit is same for man and woman. And then managing your weight. Losing weight can also help you control high blood pressure and to manage your blood sugar if you have diabetes. So I mentioned before, I work for our Southampton and the central Southampton office. I just want to let you know that in Southampton and the Central Hampshire, we provide a service called the Communication Support Service, and the support coordinator's name is called Susie Maidment, and her service basically help people who are living, help stroke survivors who are living with communication difficulties, and she would provide communication support. She could support in a group setting or on a one-to-one basis, and to practice communication, to gain confidence. And she can also offer information, advice, and emotional support, and signpost to other organizations as well. So I will share this slide with you afterwards, so you can have a look on the link to check the service. And I also mentioned earlier, we have an app online kind of website called My Stroke Guide. I don't know, have any of you heard of My Stroke Guide at all? No. Yeah, so it's a really useful online tool. It's designed by stroke survivors. So Stroke Association developed together with stroke survivors. So it includes helpful videos about stroke, managing effects and tips to improve health and well-being. It also including a forum, a friendly forum, which stroke survivors can sign in and talk to other stroke survivors. It can help when they feel isolated than usual, especially under the current situation. My Stroke Guide also has a YouTube page where there are lots of useful videos people can check out. For example, Stroke Association recently teamed up with a charity called A Stroke of Luck, and together they designed a 12-week exercise-based recovery program for stroke survivors to practice at the comfort of their own home. So all the videos are on the YouTube channel, And they are very gentle exercises, which I think also suitable for some elderly people in care homes. So feel free to have a look, see if you can use some of them. And then a stroke helpline. The stroke helpline is a place for information and support. If you or someone you know has been affected by stroke, or you just want to know more information about stroke, how to reduce your risk, you can get in touch. And if the helpline is closed or the lines are busy, you can request a free information pack sent to you. But let's remember, just if you suspect someone is having a stroke, do not call the helpline. Always use the fast test and call 999 immediately. So our work wouldn't be possible without people's support, from running an event to signing up to campaigns, to our campaigns network, or simply donating. There are lots of ways people can get involved. A lot of stroke associations' major fundraising events last year and this year, such as we had a major event called Resolution Run. They have all temporarily stopped due to the pandemic, which has a huge impact on our on stroke association financially. So every little help is welcomed. And I've spoken about my role briefly before. So I'm the health promotion and engagement coordinator in Southampton. I used to run regular face-to-face stroke prevention awareness events locally in the Southampton, and I promote them on my social media page. However, due to the current pandemic, all my face-to-face events have been suspended, but I am delivering regular online sessions like this. And that's the end of my presentation. I'm just wondering, and let me just stop sharing quickly. I'm just wondering, anybody want a 5 minutes comfort break? And then we'll come back. So Martin will talk about his own experience. Do you need a 5 minute comfort break?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, shall we, so it's 11 past 11. We'll be back like 16 past 11.
Get a cup of tea.
Yeah, a cup of tea. Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, okay, see you in a bit. Everybody back?
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Right, so that's the end of my presentation. As I said before, Martin is gonna, now I'm gonna hand over to Martin. Martin is gonna share some of his personal experience. Are you ready, Martin?
Fine, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, yeah. Well, my name's Martin. I had a stroke in 2012. I'd already retired. I suppose the Saturday when I had the stroke, the morning was normal for me. Drove around Southampton, did normal stuff. Fortunately, I put my car back at home, and then everything became extremely confused. I couldn't do simple things. I couldn't even get a cup of coffee or something. And then I must have slept a while. And then later, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't realise it was a stroke. I'd never heard about strokes. So I tried to phone a couple of people, and they couldn't understand my voice. They didn't recognise my voice, and they couldn't understand a thing about when I was trying to speak, and they obviously thought I was drunk. So a bit later, I thought I'd try to walk to the hospital because I knew something was going wrong. This time it was late afternoon, and I managed to walk as far as the main road near the hospital, and I couldn't see the difference between the street lights and the headlights of cars. Everything all bleared together, it did, and I kept falling over as well. I think the reason why I was falling over was just my coordination was a little bit crazy. So I thought I could end up getting knocked over by a car in the road there. So I just went home, and that was Saturday evening. Then I can't remember anything at all till Monday morning. Monday morning, I went outside of my place, and fortunately, somebody realised there was something wrong, and I wasn't drunk, and they gave me a lift to A&E. So at A&E, it was still extremely confusing for me. I couldn't speak at all. At the moment, I couldn't read and write, but I didn't realise that at the moment. And my memory was completely gone for a burn. The first thing they checked was my blood pressure, and they found my blood pressure was 250 over 150. So that was a bit high. And I can't remember what happened during the day, but I know they put me in a bed, and I was wheeled to different places and checked me, and I assume I had a brain scan and all that, and I ended up in the acute stroke ward in F level. I suppose I can't remember much about the hospital. Everything, I know that I kept taking me to different places to be in tests, and they obviously told me all about it. At the moment, though, my memory was completely gone for a burn, so I immediately forgot what they were saying. Yeah, when I was discharged from the hospital there, then I more or less started to recover properly. I had 6 weeks with the community stroke team, and mainly with the speech and language therapist. She really worked me hard, thank goodness. Also, I had a physiotherapist come to the house, and an occupational therapist as well. During the 6 weeks, they more or less kick-started my recovery. My speech was still really difficult, and reading and writing was really difficult, obviously, at that time. I had to wait for another 6 months for a speech therapist, but when I got it, I got another 6 months therapy there, and they more or less worked me hard with it. They put me with another stroke survivor there, I suppose, so we could compute with each other, and yeah, everything came really good. It did. During that time, I was a member of. I joined the Stroke Association club in Tottenham, and that helped me quite a lot with my speech. Yeah, having that support was very good. After about over a year of maybe 18 months. Then the Stroke Association suggested that I volunteer, and so I did. I was happy to volunteer there, and that helped me as well. We started doing drop-ins with the stroke ward with another lady who works for the Stroke Association, and that I found that it helped me more than the patients, really, because I had to speak, and yeah, so that was very good. I suppose the other thing, apart from reading and writing, I've relearnt reading and writing, but before my stroke, I used to devour books. I would probably read 3 books at the same time and thoroughly enjoy it. And now, unfortunately, it's just hard work. So it's a disappointment for that sort of thing, it is. And also the stroke affects my eyesight, so I'm not allowed to drive again. But most people who's had a stroke, they are allowed to drive. It's just that my stroke affected the eyesight, so it's just bad luck, I suppose. Yeah. My lifestyle has changed completely after the stroke. I was a non-smoker, I was anyway, so I didn't have to bother that. But I used to go to the pub and enjoy having a pint in the pub quiz. But I don't do that anymore. And before I did little exercise, but now not being allowed to drive, I walk everywhere, so that helps me as well. Normally it's just to get your life back together. It's common sense, really. Just use as Kangli was saying before there. It's diet sensibly. You can have all this stuff and what have you, but just doing it sensibly, you know. Yeah. So that's about me, really, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I know aphasia, it can be really, it was a real worry for me, it was. And myself, I used to try and speak words and get the completely wrong ones. I know I would get mixed up with numbers and colours of things and get it all wrong. It's just a matter of practice. Keep practicing on and on. I do notice that since this year with this pandemic, I live on my own. I do, and I speak with very little people, and so now I have to go back to practice with speaking again. It's I find it very difficult. Yeah. So
I used to, before the pandemic, I used to go to the hospital with Martin twice a month. Martin goes there once a week. I go with him twice a month. And then Martin is amazing. He speaks to every patient, talking to them about his own experience. And when the suggestion information is coming from the stroke survivors, and then it's easier for the patient in the hospital to listen to, I find. they really connect with you, do they? And then I do notice since you haven't been going to the hospital, your speech is not as fluent as before. It shows that you really need like constant practice, isn't it?
That's right. It is, yeah. When all this goes over, it'll happen again. It will, you know. This is it. So,
yeah. And then I know, like, but you also do like online groups and the stuff. That talking to people online, does that help?
we do the Zoom, but we have one or two people. They talk all the time, and you can't get a word in. And I think they need it. They're on their own. They're you know, so they need it themselves. And I try to keep as quiet as I, you know, let them do it.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
You know, so.
That's another question I was just want to ask you is, like, through your experience talking to stroke survivors in the hospital, what do you think that have you gathered any kind of insight into what kind of support, what kind of things will help them from their point of view?
Well, all it is all you can do is give them support, give them the clubs, give them the clubs, and have a peer support with that. Yes. And also is give them the information as well.
Yeah.
Make sure they do get the stroke packs still, I assume.
They do.
So it's quite important to have that, and tell them about the helpline as well.
There's so many informations out there for, like, the one that my stroke guide I spoke about before. It's not only for stroke survivors. If you're a carer or if you're a family member of stroke survivors, you can also register to on there. There's so many really, really useful informations, especially at the moment people swamped with informations online. Well, this My Stroke Guide is a stroke specific information. You can get almost everything you need to know on that website, and it's very user friendly as well.
Sure.
So is there anything else you want to add, Martin? Or
not really, no. If anybody's got any questions on,
I was just about to come to that. Just we've got some time left, so it's really just if there's any feedbacks, anything you want to ask from your side. Did you find that useful, or do you have any specific more stroke related questions?
Any questions? No. They found it very useful.
That's great. I mean, I know you are all care home staff. Do you come across much, like, people having stroke or stroke survivors?
Yeah, we have done, and we have a few that have had strokes previously before coming.
Yeah. Do you find it challenging looking after them, or?
No, not really.
Yeah. And then what kind of do they have any disabilities or communication issues?
Yeah, some do. It's just being time and patience, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just really just give them time. Try not to fill in the words for them, because sometimes it's just there. It's there. They just need the time to get it out. When I was doing my training, they were saying, like, strokes. One person was talking to a stroke survivors, and then they asked them a question, and they didn't answer for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then so this person, the carer, moved on to talk about something else, and about 3 minutes later, the stroke survivors said the answer. So it literally take all that time for them to process the information they want to say and to get it out. And the answer they gave is perfect. It's very clear as well, but it's the time they need. So don't be surprised that they do need extra kind of patience, extra support. And again, as I mentioned before, not to assume because they can't communicate very well that will affect their intelligence, because it doesn't. In most cases, they're perfectly clear inside, as clear as anybody, but it's just the communication difficulties stopping them from speaking their mind. Do you agree, Martin?
That's correct, it is, yeah. It's very frustrating, it is. It's frustrating for the stroke survivor, and it's frustrating for the carer, actually. Probably you guys in the care home there, you're professionals and they're used to it. But very often, a lot of the carers, either spouses or family, they just don't understand. I know my family, trying to do a conversation with them was ridiculous, you know. If you didn't give a respond more or less immediately, they were just talking at you from something else again, you know, this is it. So it's very frustrating.
Yeah. It's just the understanding.
Patience. People need patience, they do, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it's that's really from us, really. I mean, so I will share the slide with you afterwards. With Laura, I think it's Laura contacted me. I'll share with her, and then there's some links on there that feel free to have a look. And then if you guys need any, I know she said today there's only a few staff, but if you want to, other staff want to have another session in the future sometime, I'm happy to deliver it. And then I'm sure Martin will be happy to join us again. Yeah. Is anything else from you?
No, I think no.
Okay, thank you. Again, just before you go, I want to check that, double check you are still happy for me to use the recording.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you for today.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thanks very much, everybody. Much obliged. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye.